got my MTV out. Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
Are we live? We live.
Yes.
Okay, so I ain't gonna curse, but these
The extremely powerful executive Sean Diddy Combs has had an ominous presence in the music industry for the past 30 years. From his suspicious involvement in the demise of Tupac and Biggie, his secretive ritualistic parties in the backrooms, as well as numerous accidental confessions, has made the public pre-decide that he is guilty of all accusations against him. Not only have multiple women filed formal lawsuits alleging him of violent sexual assault and humiliation, but now the federal government raided his home as they investigate his involvement in a global sex trafficking operation. Technically, at the moment, he is not being charged of any crime, but any day now, Diddy could feel the wrath of the American justice system. Today, we are going to unearth the secrets he never wanted the world to know with the goal of determining one thing: did he do it or not? It's first very important to understand Diddy's potential involvement in the murders of Tupac and Biggie, because if you believe those allegations to be true, everything that happens afterwards makes total sense. In the mid-90s, Diddy, also known as Sean Puffy Combs, was in—
Why he look like the alien? Hey man, I know y'all about to say, why you pausing, bro? You always pausing. Bro, shut the fuck up, nigga. Like, calm down. I have to say things sometimes, bro. Like, bro, wise guy, nigga. You understand how this works? If I just play it, y'all gonna complain. Oh, you just taking content and you ain't even commenting on nothing. You ain't giving your opinion or nothing. I pause. You pause too much. God damn. Act like a female, nigga. Like a bitch I used to fuck with. God damn. I'm not really irritated. I'm trolling. But anyway, now he liked the alien off of, was it American Dad? I forgot his fucking name though.
Was in the middle of the infamous East Coast vs West Coast hip-hop rivalry. It all began with East Coast rapper and Bad Boy Records signee, the Notorious B.I.G., versus his enemy, West Coast rapper and Death Row Records signee, Tupac Shakur. And it ended with both of them being assassinated via drive-by shootings. Biggie's murder remains unsolved to this day, but in 2023 we learned that Keefe D was the shot caller for the group of individuals that killed Tupac. Although we do not know the specific details as to why these two rap legends were killed, through all the theories, key information, and first-hand recollections from friends and witnesses of both murders indicate that Sean Combs had involvement in both murders. Biggie and Tupac were friendly and actually respected each other at first. Tupac had begun rapping in 1991 and within 2 years already had earned a platinum album. Biggie was a crack dealer who recorded freestyles for fun, until someone sent his tapes to Puffy, who signed him to Bad Boy Records for $25,000. Puffy was also able to use his status in the music industry to connect Big and Pac. Pac became a mentor to Biggie. He once even asked him to be his manager.
I was there, nigga. I trained the nigga. He used to be under me like my lieutenant. The nigga, I used to come to New York. I used to do shows and let the nigga come on before I did Keep Your Head Up and Get Around. Because nobody knew the nigga in New York. And I used to tell the nigga, yo, if you want to make your money, you gotta rap for the bitches. Do not rap for the niggas. I told the nigga, don't rap for the niggas. Rap for the bitches. The bitches will buy your records and the niggas want what the bitches want. So all of a sudden he changed from being listen to party and bullshit, listen to his style. He changed from that to Big Papa.
Pac believes that Biggie used him as a blueprint, changed his whole style, persona, and music to be more aligned with Tupac. Many people speculated that Diddy also had a slight obsession with Tupac. He started dripping himself in Versace after Tupac did it first. He also got romantically involved in women after Tupac had ran through them.
Damn. Can't even lie, she's gorgeous. She's gorgeous, nigga.
First, like Sarah Chapman, who ran around with Tupac in the 90s and is now the mother of one of Diddy's children. Pac's claims aged like fine wine when recently the internet figured out that Biggie's most successful hit, Juicy, was actually stolen by a Mississippi-based artist called Notorious B.1, who released a song called Big Daddy a year before Juicy that sounds exactly the same.
When I hear Big Daddy, I just remember P. Diddy said, P. Diddy said to Meek Mill when he was at the pool, "You deserve it, daddy." That shit got me every time. Then Meek Mill was at WrestleMania, like, at The Rock, get up, get up.
Is it a coincidence that Notorious B1 and Notorious B.I.G. are very similar? And this
2
song is called
Chainz,
Big
he the
Daddy,
first 2
and
Chainz.
Biggie started going by Big Papa? But many people believe this was the mastermind of Diddy, as he was a music industry expert who knew how to scout talent and assess a hit song before anyone else heard it. They believe Puffy instructed his artists to steal from Notorious B1, and Biggie trusted his boss and mentor. Pac and Big's rivalry began as a music-based competition. Who had more music sales, who had the better fashion, media representation, and cultural influence. But due to gangster rap creeping into the mainstream and the two being surrounded by legitimate gangsters, tensions escalated to life-threatening conflict. In November 1994, Tupac was on his way to record some music at Quad Studios in New York City. Coincidentally, Biggie was there recording with Junior Mafia, which was a group of 4 friends that Big knew since their childhood. Puffy was there too, since Big was his artist, and anything
Damn.
that Big writes.
This is off topic like a motherfucker. I didn't realize how crooked Biggie's eyes were. That's probably why he wore glasses all the time. Bro, this nigga is looking. This nigga. I cannot help this, bro. I'm sorry. This nigga is looking at me with that eye. Then he looking at the studio equipment with the left eye. I call this multitasking at its finest, nigga. That shit is hard to do, and he accomplished it. Cause that nigga is focused on what he's saying, looking at the camera, and focused still on what's going on over here on the studio little machine.
Rights or records is technically owned by the Bad Boy label. Allegedly, a man by the name of Jimmy
Oh my
Henchman, who is
God,
now
bro.
serving
He's
life
doing
in
the same
prison, was
thing.
planning a robbery on Tupac since Pac owed him some money. Many speculate that Jimmy told Puffy what was about to happen, but Puffy did not try to stop it. When Pac was outside the studio, he looked up and realized rapper Lil Cease, who is best friends with Biggie, was yelling at him from above. He was excited to see him because they were friends. He
I
told
remember
him he
this
was
from
going to go
Notorious.
downstairs and meet him in the lobby. Pac got to the lobby downstairs when some men attempted to rob him at gunpoint, which quickly led to conflict and Pac being shot 5 times.
In the middle of that trial,
He didn't even-
Shakur
he
was
still
gunned
survived.
down, shot 5 times in what he claimed was a murder attempt, and police called a robbery.
As the police did their investigation, you can see Diddy looking around scanning the area with his head down. Keep in mind that after Tupac was shot, he got in the elevator and went upstairs where dozens of Bad Boy affiliates were located. Pac was interviewed
Diddy
by
set
Vibe
him up?
magazine detailing
Is that what
the
they
night
said?
he was shot and the energy of the people around him while he was bleeding out. Because Andre Harrell was there, Puffy was there, Biggie, nobody approached me. I noticed that nobody would look at me. Andre Harrell wouldn't look at me. I had been going to dinner with him the last few days. Puffy was standing back too. I knew Puffy. He knew how much stuff I had done for Biggie before he came out. Based on Tupac's words here, fans in the media believe that he was hinting that Biggie and Puffy might be behind the attack, which bothered Big and Puff since publicly at this point they were still friends.
Tupac article had me pissed off, you know what I'm saying? And the rumors that's spreading is on some tip like we set him up, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that's crazy. It's just ridiculous, you know what I'm saying? But I also understand
He
that
did, he set
if
him
you
up,
was to
bro.
get shot 5 times, mine is just completely
Why he
spinning,
look
you know what I'm
irritated?
saying?
Did he
You're
look
confused
irritated?
about your situation, so it'll cause you to say things that you really don't mean.
To make things worse, a few months later, Pac was found guilty of sexual assault and would end up serving 9 months in prison. This gave him tons of time to
Damn.
think and reevaluate his life. To add insult to injury, Biggie released his iconic cutthroat track called Hushacha, which felt like an obvious diss towards Tupac. But technically, it was recorded before Pac got shot, but it was marketed and released months after the incident. Regardless,
Who
the media
released it?
developed the
Is
narrative.
was that Diddy? Was that Diddy that released it after he got shot to make it some controversy? I feel like Diddy set up Tupac, and I feel like Diddy set up Biggie to get shot. I'm just saying that's what I feel like. My opinion. I could be completely fucking wrong, and I probably am. And I mean, shit, y'all gonna tell me. Y'all gonna tell me, bro. Y'all love to talk shit, and I love responding and saying what's up, nigga. Thank you.
Narrative that Big and Puffy set up the shooting and now released a diss record bragging about their hit, and Puff's full intentions were to stir up drama, as can be confirmed by the former president of Bad Boy Records.
Biggie might not have thought that when he wrote the lyrics that it was going to be used for that, but the way it was marketed by the company and released in the succession of things that were going on that we were dealing with on all the levels that we were dealing, that record did what it was supposed to do. And that's a perfect example of how my former business partner works and thinks.
Pac was sitting in jail already thinking that they set him up, and the release of this song was all the proof he needed. But this wasn't the only shooting that Puffy was involved in. It's also important to know that Tupac signed to Death Row Records while in prison.
I'm not trying to I'm not coming at I'm not coming at how Tupac look, like his looks. I'm saying it's not a good pick. Like I don't know. I cannot. If I shave my fucking mustache and chin hair and everything, bro, I look fucking crazy, nigga. Like I can't do it, bro. Even though I can't grow a full beard, I gotta leave some hair, bro. I gotta leave some hair on my face, or I'm gonna look crazy, bro. It's crazy how you look cool when you young, but then when you get older, that shit is not flying, bro. It's not.
That they set him up, and the release of this song was all the proof he needed.
That's what I do.
But this wasn't the only shooting that Puffy was involved in. It's also important to know that Tupac signed to Death Row Records while in prison after the label owner Suge Knight promised to use his money to get Pac released. As they were in the process of getting Pac out, Suge Knight and his best friend Jake Robles, aka Big Jake, were at the Platinum nightclub in Atlanta. Suge confronted Puffy at the club and was choking him. Puffy's bodyguard, Anthony Wolf Jones, steps in to defend him, and then things got out of hand. Next thing you know, shots are being fired, and Suge's friend Big Jake was shot and killed. Whether or not Wolf shot Jake has never been confirmed, but Suge was holding Puffy responsible for the attack, which was enough to now ignite a feud between the two executives. Quick sidebar, recently fans have noticed that Puffy now ignite a feud.
How the fuck he got dandruff on his jacket and he ain't even got no hair? Somebody solve that fucking problem for me. That's insane, nigga.
Between the two executives. Quick sidebar, recently fans have noticed that Puffy's firstborn biological son Justin Combs looks a lot like Wolf. How does your son look more like your best friend than you? Anyways, in October 1995, Tupac got out of prison and he wanted war.
I have no fear. I have only ambition, and I want mine, and I will do anything to protect and feed my family. And these niggas represent a threat.
Pac got out and immediately started taunting and scheming on Bad Boy Records as much as possible. In the days after his release from prison, he jumped into the studio to record his next album, All Eyes on Me, and he talked about the anticipated tracks.
Whole album cover
Two of America's Most Wanted with me and Snoop. That's gonna be a humdinger, right? Shorty Wanna Be a Thug. That's gonna be a big one. And Wonder Why They Call You Bitch with Faith. That's gonna be a big one.
He mentions Faith, aka Faith Evans, who was married to Biggie for over a year at this point. Imagine your wife jumps in the studio with your biggest enemy.
She looked mid as fuck. She looked better when in the movie, nigga. Whoever the actor was in the movie was way better than this. This is, I mean, am I saying that she's terrible? No, but like, I'm just saying it's not better than the actor.
1 week after he gets out of jail, Pac was also seen with
the actor was Gorgé, nigga. Gorgé.
Faith Evans at Whitney Houston's album release party. The rumor is that Biggie cheated on Faith and that she was trying to get back at him by cheating with Pac. Pac also allegedly started messing around with Mary J. Blige, who was a close friend and business partner with Puffy. Then Death Row Records held a Christmas party in 1995 where a close friend of Puffy, Mark Anthony Bell, was mercilessly beaten and forced to drink urine after refusing to give Suge Puffy's mother's address. Tupac and Death Row did not let off the gas. At the 1996 Soul Train Awards, Biggie won the award for Song of the Year, and Tupac won Best Rap Album of the Year. After Big got his award, he took some pictures backstage and then exited the venue because he had to go to the airport to catch a flight. And that's when Pac and Suge pulled up in a Hummer taunting them.
I can't even pause, bro. I'm struggling trying to pause this shit. Bro, this nigga looking at everybody, bro. Nigga can see left and right, nigga can see everybody, bro. Everybody, nigga, he has access to. His eyes is just... And niggas gonna get mad at me for saying that, bro. But that's fine, nigga, cause that's what I do. I entertain, nigga. I make jokes. What are you talking about?
Because he had to go to the airport to catch a flight, and that's when Pac and Suge pulled up in a Hummer, taunting them.
While we was waiting for the car to pull up, Suge and Tupac pulled up.
I ain't gonna lie. If I was real quick, if I was let me turn this back up. If I was in an altercation, if I was like talking to Biggie, right, and there was another nigga next to me, and he arguing. Oh, he mad. I'm trying to figure out who is you looking at when you saying what you saying. That's what I want to know. You gotta let me know who you talking to. Say my name so I know that the eye you using is the one that is directed to.
the venue because he had to go to the airport to catch a flight. And that's when Pac and Suge pulled up in a Hummer, taunting them.
I'm not shit,
While we was waiting for the car to pull up, Suge and Tupac pulled up in the Hummer. And, you know, Tupac was really loud, yelling West Side, you know, cursing, yelling a bunch of stuff. And Suge came from the other side and was like trying to actually walk up to us saying he just want to talk to Big, like, want to talk. But of course, everybody got in front. You know, it was a little yelling and arguing for a minute, but police and everybody got in front, kind of stopped everything.
Despite Biggie's gangster lyrics, he was really a chill dude who didn't want to beef with Pac. Remember, he looked up to him. He always thought they were friends, but as we are speculating, he seemed to be a pawn in a much bigger operation.
He knows you sent somebody to shoot him that first time. Is that true or false?
Why? No, it's false. Why would I do that?
Okay. Do you think he was just hyping a record, or you have no idea?
I don't know what was the problem. You know, I wasn't inside his head at the time. I don't really know what's the reason for him doing what he did.
Tupac was a man on fire, a man who he believes was wrongfully convicted of a crime he didn't commit, was constantly being slandered by the media, and now feels was being disrespected by his biggest enemies, on top of being surrounded by real gangsters. He released a music video alongside Snoop Dogg called Two of America's Most Wanted, which featured a skit mocking Biggie and Puff.
Pop, please don't kill me. It was Buff's idea. No, man. I'm just a rapper, man. Please don't take me out the game.
Interesting that Tupac himself instructed the Biggie actor in the 90s to say it was Puff's idea, as if he knew the truth. Then Pac released one of the most abrasive and iconic diss tracks of all time, Hit 'Em Up. He starts off the song claiming he had sex with Biggie's wife and then directly calls Biggie, Puffy, and Junior Mafia all bitches, along with various other threats. The pressure was on Bad Boy. Pac was not going to stop, and Puffy couldn't take the heat. Biggie's bodyguard, Gene Deal, recalls when Puff reached his tipping point.
He said, I'm a businessman. I'm about making money, but something gotta change. I don't give a f if Pac gotta die, Big gotta die, or Suge Knight go to jail. Something's gotta change.
Gene was taken back. He wondered if Puff realized that he just said he didn't care if his own artist died. At the same time, he still wanted to play gangster games. As we all know, these gangster games only lead to two outcomes: death or jail, and Tupac would meet his fate on September 13th, 1996. Pac and the Death Row Squad were
the year I was born, bro. I'm old as fuck, so now niggas can do their research and say, how old is Herbaveli, nigga? Born 96, nigga. I was born a few months before he passed.
Attending the Bruce Seldon vs. Mike Tyson boxing match in Las Vegas. Hyped up from the testosterone and the energy of the fight, Pac wanted some action. A Death Row associate pointed out Orlando Anderson to Pac, who was a Southside Crip gang member, a rival to the Piru Blood set that was affiliated with Death Row Records. Pac went up to Orlando and punched him in the face. Then Death Row associates put a beating on the man. Later that night, Suge and Tupac were driving down East Flamingo Road to Club 662, when suddenly a white Cadillac pulled up beside them at a red light and opened fire on Tupac. He was hit 4 times, with the fatal shot piercing his lung. Just last year, Las Vegas police arrested a man called Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, who was a shot caller for the group of individuals that committed this crime, and he orchestrated the plan that was carried out. Ironically, Keefe D. has been confessing his involvement publicly on the internet for years. In 2008, he confessed that his nephew, Orlando Anderson, the man that Tupac punched earlier that night, was the one who actually pulled the trigger.
Keefe D. has now identified his own nephew as the murderer of Tupac Shakur.
Yeah, bro,
bolstering Keefe D's claim was an informant in 1997 who told investigators that Puffy had hired the Southside Crips to kill both Suge and Tupac, and that the Crip who has jumped at the...
I get all this, man. Like, okay, we get that. Like, I hope, like, further on we get more into, like, Diddy. I want to hear more about Diddy. I get, okay, cool. Could have been Bad Boy that got Tupac killed and everything like that. I want to just...
MGM
Let's talk
was
about
in the
Diddy,
group
bro.
that had done the hit. This was exactly the same story that Keefe D told us a decade later.
Keefe also stated that Puffy offered them $1 million to kill Suge and Tupac.
We wanted $1 million. Yeah, he said, come on downstairs and talk to you. Oh.
He tells you, seriously, man, I need to get rid of these guys. I mean, he's looking at you in the eyes and he's like scared.
Yeah.
You tell him we'll do it for $1 million, and he's like, okay, I'll do it for $1 million. He agrees. You shake on it or something like that.
It's nothing.
Who brought up the amount of $1 million?
He did.
Puffy did?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it you?
No, it wasn't me. I'll shit. $1 million, I'll take it.
When Diddy was asked about this confession, this was his response.
It was this documentary that claimed, which we know wasn't true.
Yeah, check this out. We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't even entertain nonsense, my brother.
Yeah, don't entertain me. I'm nonsense,
with all due
nigga.
respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking. Thank you.
As you can imagine, Death Row was likely seeking retaliation for the murder of Tupac. Everyone at Bad Boy Records knew they were not safe, but they were especially not safe in Southern California.
Damn, Craig
An
Mack
LA Kingpin called Gene.
Nigga, Craig Mack needed some goddamn motherfucker. What's that shit called, bro, with the acne shit, bro? Proactive. Nigga needed a proactive shit, bro. On God.
Safe, but they were especially not safe in Southern California. An LA Kingpin called Gene Deal, Diddy's bodyguard, and warned him that there was a hit placed on Biggie in LA.
This somebody did 26 years in the federal jail as a kingpin, brother. He called me to save Biggs' them life. Tell them niggas not to go nowhere. It's a hit on them. You get this information from a kingpin, brother. Chaz Williams.
Despite knowing all this information, in February of 1997, they headed out to Los Angeles to promote Biggie's new album, Life After Death. Puffy also wanted to record some of his album, No Way Out, in LA. Lil Cease, Biggie's best friend, claims that Big wanted to be in LA.
If he say go, we go. If he stay, we're staying. Big wanted to stay. I always tell people that, yo, why everybody always go, why y'all was there so long, or why you didn't tell him to go home? He's the boss. We're here because of him. And if he feel like there's no threat, he
what was that, nigga?
Boss. We're here because of him.
Nigga, that sound like when you try to start your car up and that bitch, the alternator messed up. Nigga, the battery did, nigga. That's what he sound, bro. What the fuck?
And if he feel like it's no threat and he wants to be here, it's our job to stand down with him.
Biggie was not taunting the West Coast. He genuinely loved being in LA. He received a lot of love from fans, promoters, radio DJs, despite being surrounded by his enemies. Instead of claiming to be the victor of his beef with Tupac, Biggie wanted to use his life to inspire change and squash the East Coast versus West Coast beef. The truth is, over the years, Puffy and Biggie had made so many enemies that they didn't really know who was after them, but they overstayed their welcome in the City of Angels, and Big's demise came on March 9th, 1997. After presenting an award at the 1997 Soul Train Awards, the Bad Boy crew attended the after-party hosted by Vibe magazine at the Peterson Automotive Museum. Biggie left the party riding in the front passenger seat of a Chevrolet Suburban SUV with Puffy and other entourage members driving directly in front of them. As they stopped at the first red light, a dark-colored Chevrolet Impala pulled up alongside Biggie's SUV. An unknown assailant inside the Impala rolled down the window and fired multiple shots at Biggie's vehicle. Biggie was hit numerous times by gunfire, sustaining 4 gunshot wounds. One of the bullets struck him in the chest, causing severe internal injuries. He was immediately rushed to the Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, but pronounced dead at the hospital that night. So what happened? Well, Puffy's business partner said that they had used up all their budget on security, so they couldn't hire extra security for this evening. Keefy D was also at this party and offered protection. Puff told him to stand down. Puff decided to ride in the separate car located in front of Biggie's. Then he gave his security guard, Gene Deal, very strange instructions rather than maximizing Big's protection.
I tried to ride on the side of the car. Puff said, yo, Gene, what you doing? I said, I'm riding on the side of the car. I have my gun out. So he says to me, Gene, if you don't get in this car, you ain't gonna never work for Bad Boy ever again. I said, man, how the f you gonna try to tell me how to do my job? He said, Gene, we don't need that look. We don't need that look. Get in the car. As I go to get in the car, this motherfucker reached down and let his seat all the way back. So now I gotta put my legs sideways. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is you doing? I said, you ready? He said, you ready? I said, Kenny, run the next 3 lights. Kenny said, for what? I said, motherfucker, run the next 3 lights, Kenny, or I'm gonna drive. Kenny just took off.
The first car ran the red lights, but the car behind them did not follow. They decided to stop at the red light. Lil Cease had his head hanging out the window trying to holler at some girls. Then out of nowhere, the shooting took place. According to an FBI agent, Phil Carson, who worked on the case for several years, Suge Knight hired Amir Muhammad to carry out the execution. However, the agent says that the original target was not Biggie. They were targeting Sean Puffy Combs. Gene also believes this story is the truth.
I believe it was meant for Puff. The people that tried to kill Puff that night, for whatever reason, because we had some beef with some Muslim cats in Soul Train too.
Diddy?
For whatever reason, the people that was trying to kill Puff, Big became a casualty of Puff shit.
When they rushed Big to the hospital, Lil Cease, who literally looked the shooter right in his face, gave a description to Gene. This is what he said.
Little Cease at the hospital, he said a Muslim shot Big. And I said to Paul, with the blue suit, white shirt, blue bow tie, he said, Gene, how you know? I said, that motherfucker walked up to Puff car first.
Lil Cease's description of the man matches up to what the FBI uncovered. All in all, to say that Puffy set up the murders of Pac and Biggie is not exactly accurate, but the origins of the beef and the escalation of the beef can most definitely be traced back to Puffy. Also, he definitely knew that danger was looming for Pac and Biggie and did not even come close to trying to prevent both of their deaths. Because at the end of the day, Puff was the one who benefited most from them dying. Think about it from the perspective of Puffy the businessman. Tupac dies, that makes Biggie the winner. Biggie looks like the ultimate gangster who warned his enemy with a diss track and then got him killed. That helps feed into the persona and sell more records. Plus, with Tupac dead, there is no more competition. Biggie's inspiration, his idol, the dude who he copied everything from can no longer defend himself from the grave. Now, we know that Puff didn't exactly want Big to die, but he wasn't doing everything in his power to protect him. Additionally, Puff saw how much money Death Row was making after Tupac passed. Tupac Shakur sold 67,000 records in the week following his murder. 2 months after he died, they released The Don Illuminati, The 7-Day Theory, which Shakur recorded under the name Machiavelli. It debuted at #1 on the
Machiavelli. If y'all don't know, man, that's where I get my name from. If you didn't know. From Machiavelli, Tupac, you feel me? So I say Herbaveli, that's my fucking name, nigga. That's where I get it from.
On the Billboard Hot 200 with first week sales of 664,000 and 250,000 the second week. To this day, Tupac has sold 75 million records, most of which came posthumously. Puffy owned all of Big's publishing. He allegedly purchased it from him for $200,000 years before he passed, which meant that everything he recorded or wrote for himself or other artists, Puff owned all of Biggie's percentage. Aside from the tens of millions of dollars in albums Big sold posthumously, he was also a prolific songwriter. He wrote all of Junior Mafia's album. He wrote for Lil' Kim. He wrote for Mace, Craig Mack. Also consider every single time he's been sampled over the years. Diddy has been making money off Biggie for more years than Biggie was alive. There were even suspicions that Biggie was aware of how much control Puffy had over his music and tried to sign over all his new music to his infant daughter, but passed away before he could get the business deals done. Biggie's mother, Valletta Wallace, has repeatedly expressed her distrust of Diddy. The truth is, Christopher accepted the illusion of a friend and mentor for about $25,000. That's the amount Puffy lured my son with. That was a lot of money for Christopher back then as a 19-year-old. She continued by saying that she was glad her son does not have to witness that the very people that he thought he could ride and die with wouldn't think twice about using his mother. She added, I am glad that he is not here to see how they have used his image and his name. Diddy was filthy rich, extremely powerful, and evidently unpredictable. Imagine how easy it was to leverage his power in the music industry and his personal life. If you said no to him, in theory, he could blackball you, extort you, or maybe something more permanent. So consider that when we begin analyzing his history of suspicious behavior.
I got my MTV out. Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! I'm a savage! Whatever I want, I'm going to get! Whatever I want, I have to get!
My nigga.